Hello guys and welcome, thanks for joining our video. Well, Endgame is finally out and a lot of people have seen the movie. Just to warn you all, there are spoilers ahead, so if you don't want to know anything, please do not watch the rest of the video. Today we will go over some of the things on Endgame that I did not like. Overall, I liked the movie, but some things I just need to address, so here we go. Well, the first thing was Iron Man dies. We all saw this coming. One or more of the original Avengers biting the dust was practically a foregone conclusion. That doesn't make it hurt any less. Tony Stark makes the sacrifice play at the end of the movie, putting on the Infinity Stones in order to erase Thanos' army from existence. The power of the stones proves to be too much. When Tony breathes his last breath and the light from his arc reactor faded, sobs could be heard not just on the screen, but in the audience as well. We're tearing up just remembering it. The second issue I had was, no hulking out. Whenever the Hulk appears in a Marvel movie, one of the things we look forward to seeing is a giant, green rage monster punching his way to victory. This is not the case in Avengers Endgame. Bruce Banner has apparently figured out a way to temper the Hulk's rage. He is now permanently green and strong, but also calm and professional. Banner has total control. This is hilarious to watch at first, but after a while, we all wished we could see the Hulk yell, "Hulk smash!" one more time. What I think should have happened is that Hulk was able to absorb the gamma with no problem and actually use it to become a version of World Breaker Hulk. That would have been cool. When he came out of Giant Man's hand, he should have been able to harness the gamma around him, because don't forget the universe itself is surrounded by gamma and Marvel Comics has hinted that Hulk should be able to do this. Russos, you dropped the ball on this one. The third thing I had an issue with was Hawkeye's entire family getting wasted. The beginning moments of Endgame provide us with one of Marvel's most chilling scenes ever. We find out what Clint Barton was doing when the snap occurred. He and his family were having an at-home picnic. Barton turns his back on his family for 1 second to pick something up, and when he turns around, they are all gone. All of them. His wife, his daughter, and his 2 sons were turned to dust. Your stomach sinks to the ground when this happens. I suppose it was needed to bring a darker, edgier Hawkeye, or should I say Ronin. The fourth thing that was funny but wasn't needed was Big Daddy Thor. Perhaps on a fairly personal note, the absence of Thor's usually strong personality and solid will is one of the worst things about Avengers Endgame. Devastated by his failure to stop Thanos, Thor becomes a recluse and decides to spend 5 years wallowing in misery and drinks. And even Norse gods are not immune to the effects of that kind of lifestyle. Thor becomes a dreadlocked, overweight shell of the man he used to be. All we're saying is that since Endgame is Thor's last movie in the MCU, it would have been nice to see the strong-willed guy we all love one final time. The fifth thing that was strange was the freeing of Ant-Man. Superhero movie conflicts are resolved in one of two ways: either the sheer determination of the hero sees them through the day, or a fluke occurrence turns events in the hero's favor. Endgame features the latter. Ant-Man was stuck in the quantum realm during the snap, and he was in there for 5 years. However, when a rat scuttled over the controls of the device that sent Ant-Man there, he was suddenly released. He felt like he had only been there for 5 hours. That led him to believe time travel was possible and that the Avengers could use that knowledge. So technically, it's only thanks to that rat that the Avengers saved the day. Who knows, maybe it's a shout out to Mickey Mouse since Marvel is owned by Disney. The sixth thing that didn't make sense was Thanos' army traveling in time. Time travel is a sticky issue to deal with in any story, and Endgame is no exception. A small group of Avengers go back in time in order to retrieve the Infinity Stones using these handy wrist devices to make the jump. Nebula gets captured by Thanos as the past version of herself, and past Nebula steals the wrist device. Somehow, past Nebula goes forward to the present with the rest of the Avengers and then manages to bring past Thanos and his entire past army to fight the Avengers. We're not sure how they managed to do this. Button presses? Magic? Science? Guess there just had to be one final fight though. I guess the pim particles she stole from future Nebula were enough to bring the whole army of Thanos to the fight? The seventh problem I had was Hawkeye and Black Widow fighting for who would sacrifice the other. If you recall from Infinity War, the only way to get the Soul Stone is to sacrifice another's life for it. Thanos sacrificed Gamorre's life in order to get it. In Endgame, Hawkeye and Black Widow are sent back in time to get it for themselves. Unfortunately, the soul for a Soul Stone rule still applies. What follows is the worst fight in the movie. It is the worst fight because you don't want either one to win. They are basically fighting to see who sacrifices themselves for the stone. Natasha ends up winning, but when Clint holds the Soul Stone in his palm and starts to weep, you can only feel a deep sense of loss. Why not just go back to the time when Thanos got the stone and kill him to get it? Just saying. The eighth problem was no mention of Vision's death, no mourning him, or what happened to him. Unfortunately, Vision was not brought back when the Hulk snapped his fingers to return the people that Thanos had erased. He had been destroyed prior to that when Thanos had plucked the Mind Stone from his forehead. However, despite the continued loss of Vision, no one seemed to spare much thought for his absence except for Scarlet Witch. Only she seemed to remember that he wasn't coming back with everyone else. Vision did not even get the courtesy of a cameo appearance. The ninth thing is Nebula eliminates her former self. Time travel can mess up a lot and leave audience members confused. Things get even more perplexing when alternate timelines are thrown into the mix. Nebula from the present and Nebula from the past get in a fight in the present, and the fight ends with present Nebula shooting past Nebula. We honestly have no clue what the repercussions of her actions will mean for her character. Will Nebula cease to exist? Is there now an alternate timeline where Nebula is gone? It's best not to think about it too hard. I do not know how wiping out all of Thanos' army will work as well on the timeline. The 10th issue which made no sense to me was Captain America going back in time. After stealing the Infinity Stones from the past, the Avengers' plan was to return them at the exact moment they stole them. Once the final fight with Thanos is finished, this task falls to Captain America. With enough pim particles to make as many time jumps as he needs to, the Avengers see him off on his solo errand. However, instead of coming back to the present afterward, apparently, Cap decided to linger in the past for the rest of his life. This is sweet because he finally got to have that dance with Peggy Carter. But the repercussions to the timeline are daunting, to say the least. So was Cap the Soldier Peggy married? We do not know because the movie didn't make it clear. If you watch Winter Soldier, the movie never really shows Peggy's husband in the pictures. I suppose this opens the door to the multiverse and all possibilities. Well, like I said, the movie overall was good, but it could have been much better in my opinion. The journey has been great, thanks to the Marvel Cinematic Universe for all the great memories and the many more to come. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Take care.